Have you got a demon problem? Have those pesky critters invaded your domicile? Then call me, Carl the Demon Killer Williams. I specialized in them coked-up Italian demons, the pint-sized ugly demons, and even the non-house-trained demon dogs. They'll mess up a shag carpet real quick. I can eradicate just about every kind of demon that you can conjure. And you can find me at carlthedemonkiller.com. Or you can just say my name into a truck stop bathroom mirror 67 times and I'll probably appear. Now play me some of that promo music.
And in 3, 2, 1, I already forgot it.
You will be soon to speak as a giant, or like all the others, dead.
You think I imagined all of it, don't you? You think I'm insane?
That's feng shui.
A match made in a bathroom. Just floating into the void. Where do you think the term pussyfooting came from? Because I just said it and really thought about it, and I was like, that is probably derogatory somehow.
It has to be. That's a very specific.
But then it's like, okay, we got 2 words. One is it's not a medical term.
Here is the first thing that pops up on Google. It says, no one is really sure about the origin of this idiom.
Thank you, Google.
Some people believe that in the past, it was a common practice among robbers.
We can speculate.
To make use of a wire or cane to trip unsuspecting passersby. While the stunned victim was on the ground, the other members of the gang would relieve him of his valuables. I think this is the English Google is what I've got onto.
Yep, that sounds very... if you look up the how to pronounce it, it kind of looks like it says pusfoot, which I like. But I see now that's got like a mark over the E. Pusfoot.
Pussyfoot definition: to go or move in stealthy or cautious manner.
Not as dirty as I hoped it would be.
Right.
Oh well. I'm still going to use it. I guess that was what I was saying is every time I use it, I'm like, should I be saying that out loud in front of people?
So I think that we've been using that wrong our entire lives, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
I use it as like pussyfooting around the subject, kind of like same as beating around the bush a little bit, which also sounds extremely suggestive.
Then where did that come from?
Same guy that thought up pussyfooting thought up. I guess you could call it baiting around the bush, eh? I don't know why he's British.
What's that star on the wall mean?
Exactly, that guy. Who is that guy, by the way?
I swear I looked him up earlier.
The nature of our podcast. Technically, we're doing a cozy cast. Did you know that?
Oh, is that it? Not a koozie cast that you should drink to.
Right.
But a cozy cast.
I don't know. You could call it a koozie cast, at least the first 20 episodes that we did.
So Brian Glover is the guy in American Werewolf in London.
Okay.
That told the bad joke, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He was in Alien 3.
He's not in prison. I guess they all are.
Yeah.
But he's in charge, right?
Something
Kinda.
like that.
What'd you say his last name was?
Glover. Brian Glover.
Why is that not just I know that off the top?
Because you would think of Crispin Glover if we associated him.
Yep. Get blindsided by a Crispin Glover. You want to keep your eyes on him at all times. Don't let him get behind you, I guess. Did we ever figure out why he was so weird? Was it just his dad was weird and then he was just weird?
I think he was dropped in a specific spot of his head.
Yeah, towards the back.
Repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what causes that.
Falling down a flight of stairs.
I have tried to watch a few more things about him, and all of it's disturbing.
Yeah.
He's just a strange guy.
Well, his dad was super strange. I mean, his dad, if you're looking through his IMDb, it's no, he didn't. And then you're like, you see pictures of it and you're like, fuck, he did. Like, he was a like bodybuilder. I think I've brought this up before. Maybe that was just how people were back then, is like, I mean, he started out really handsome, like in his 20s, and then something happened in his face. By the time he does the James Bond movie, he was kind of turning into a ferret a little bit. And that's what happened to Crispin Glover, too, I guess.
The same thing with a guy that I'm going to talk about today, who started off kind of a handsome leading man, and somewhere everything went strange.
Are you talking about Mickey Rourke?
No, but it seems like it's a parallel.
Could be applied to him as well.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we'll look forward to that. Have we said who we are or what we're doing yet?
No. We've been pussyfooting around this podcast.
Already paying dividends.
That's it. All right, welcome to the Yarn Wall.
I like the way you said that.
The Yarn Wall.
It was almost a question. Like, right? I am in the right place, right?
As I look around suspiciously.
It's your podcast. You literally created it.
I just woke up and there was a microphone in front of me, and I just assumed I should have started talking long ago about said podcast. My name is Tim Kornman, and with me as always is Jason Walker.
Hi. I held my breath. I didn't know if you were going to...
I could tell. You're like...
Oh, he said it. Thank God.
You're tapping your leg.
Like anime sweat is going down my face. Man, you know what? I was just kind of going through here, still on Brian Glover. I want to watch Alien 3 again. I haven't seen that in a long time. Is Alien 3... Is that that's David Fincher, right?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, I think when I remember seeing Alien 3 and saw that David Fincher was attached to it, and his earlier stuff was mostly music videos, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I thought, I'm like, oh man, this is going to suck, or it's going to be the best thing ever.
Yes.
And it was somewhere in between.
I think I kind of had that bias too. It was like, oh my God, this is just going to be flashy with no story at all. But then I realized, well, I mean, after I saw a couple of his movies, he's awesome, but those are like Michael Mann movies, you know? Well, not a music video, I guess. They're just so slick looking. I guess that was just the 80s.
Man, David Fincher now has 94 directing credits.
I am looking through them right now, and now I realize that a ton of them up until the mid-90s are just videos.
Yeah, it's Rick Springfield, Christopher Cross, The Outfield.
Oh my God.
Patty Smythe.
What was the Outfield song?
Loverboy. Josie's on a vacation.
It was that?
Yeah. It wasn't that song. He didn't do that.
Okay. Because I was like,
but that's the song that they're known for.
Oh, yeah. I love that song. Yeah, you're right. I couldn't really tell you. I probably know one other song.
All of the songs on that album sound the exact same.
Yeah, just that one like kind of vocal trick he does, singing really high. like he just belvedered his nuts.
But and just kind of a serendipitous plot change we've done in a podcast here, talking about David Fincher, and he has done videos for, as we just said, Rick Springfield.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at him right.
Also did Billy Idol, whose songs are in Demons, right?
Yeah, true.
I actually got trapped watching music videos that were set to Demons.
When you say you got trapped, did like a bunch of laundry fall on you and you just couldn't get up?
Yeah. I'm like, I can't reach my mouse. And this is kind of soothing.
Yep. It was just fresh out of the dryer.
It's like a sharp weighted blanket.
Oh, man. That'd be funny if you had like a gun, like a t-shirt gun, but bigger, and you could just like blow a bunch of warm laundry onto a criminal. They're just like... He did the video for Roll With It. Can we still talk about David Fincher doing videos?
Sure.
I love 80s Steve Winwood.
You mean Roll With It, Baby?
Yep. Baby's parenthetical.
Okay.
He did Don Henley, The End of the Innocents. This is amazing. Ooh, he did Cradle of Love. God. How in this like day and age has that not been...
Right.
Did they do it at the time? Did they were just like, no, Billy Idol. It's disgusting.
And Paula Abdul, Aerosmith, Madonna, Don Henley, Michael Jackson, all of these like pop bands, and then he comes back and directs 7.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this.
He directed a movie in 2020 called Mank.
Yeah.
M-A-N-K.
Yeah.
With Gary Oldman. Yeah.
It's about, can't remember his first name, Mankiewicz. I think he was a famous writer.
Who wrote Citizen
Yes.
Kane. Okay.
It's nominated for all kinds of Oscars this year.
Maybe I should watch something other than 80s films. No.
It is supposed to be really good, but no. I'll just stick with horror, gross out. I did watch a couple of movies this weekend. Did you watch Godzilla vs. Kong yet?
No, I did not.
It's really, 80% of the movie is CGI. It is weird when they cut back to... So you're not looking at something that's just a giant CGI lizard or a monkey. They have some pretty good actors.
Real people?
Yeah, real people every once in a while.
Anyway, was it good? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, the timing of it is really good. Like, I didn't want to pay attention to something. What am I trying to say? I didn't want to think too hard is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Well, I got you. I do that the same thing with like, I finally sit down to eat dinner or something. My wife says, well, what do you want to watch? I'm like, something I don't have to think about.
Yes.
I just don't care.
Yes.
Nothing with heavy plot points.
Nope. I didn't realize that the main character, I don't know what he is. They're just tall, blonde scientist, doctor, who knows?
Okay.
Monster expert is another Skarsgård.
Oh, yeah?
How many of these guys are there?
30 or 40. I think they're cloning them right now, aren't they?
Okay, I'm so confused. Have you been keeping up with The Stand?
Yeah, I watched The Stand.
I did not realize that he plays Randall Flagg.
Okay, yeah. The one that played in True Blood. Yeah.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, he's good. I like him.
Yeah, he was, underutilized in this movie, but again, it's like they're just acting to nothing. Nothing's there,
Why is Alexander Skarsgård's IMDb pick just in a...
I don't know, and I have a feeling he just changed it not too long ago to this because it was being discussed on Twitter.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
If you're going to do social distancing,
that's not what...
like red carpet walkthroughs, then you've got to have the camera at a certain position so it doesn't catch your ball sack and your whitey tighties.
It has been funny this winter and spring, all the people that embarrassing themselves on Zoom and other, whether they're doing job interviews or podcasts, and then they think they've clicked off of it, and then they just go off on a racist rant or take a shit, and you can actually see them in the back, So that's been fun. That's what I've been doing with my...
with your time.
Jesus Christ. He's like 7 feet tall.
I mean, he's built too.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was Tarzan. I don't know.
He's got good genes. Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah, he's got like a 12-pack abs there. I don't...
Good. I'm glad we could perv out on a Skarsgård at the very beginning of our podcast. But yeah, that movie is great. And then, so I don't think I had ever seen King of the Monsters, Godzilla King of the Monsters, the one that came out last year or the year before.
Was that before or after
Skull Island?
Yeah, Skull Island. I liked Skull Island. I thought it was fun.
That is the only one I haven't seen. I've seen the Godzilla ones, but not the Kong. I gotta get it together. We did just back-to-back watch King of the Monsters, and that has Ghidorah in it, I think they call him Ghidorah. I've been pronouncing it the same way for 40-something years, so. What's funny is, like, they have legit actors and actresses in these movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of the, like, plot points and stuff like that are from basically the old Toho Is that right? Toho Studios, those Godzillas. So it's like, okay, we got to get two tiny little girls in a cage, and they're going to sing to Mothra. And so all these things that are just so like insane and so like specifically Japanese, they're still keeping those because they know the fans like them, but they make no sense, you know. This had one of our favorite guys, Bradley
Whitford.
He's in it.
So is Charles Dance,
yes,
who was
dude.
in Alien 3.
Right, exactly. Oh my God, dude. I have to admit, I have not watched Game of Thrones, but I've heard he's amazing in that. But he is in everything else as well. Everybody is like, their sarcasm level is like cranked up to 100.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody just talks in like this snarky kind of language, you know?
Okay.
And it's a lot of that just, you know, vague science-y crap that's in all of these movies, you know? They're just watching something on a camera and then just like, you know, faking some kind of science talk and jumping to conclusions. Like, anyway.
No, I have not seen Godzilla King of the Monsters, so I can't talk to any of that.
It's one of those. You just kind of sit back and turn your mind off and just watch some monsters punching each other. That's what we need right now, right?
Right, sure. But riddle me this, since I have not seen either Godzilla King of the Monsters or the new Godzilla versus Kong, Kong versus Godzilla, whatever you want to call it.
Godzilla versus Kong. Godzilla gets top billing.
Is there a definite good guy? Are you rooting for Kong? When before we were rooting for Godzilla.
Right. Unclear still after this movie, but no. Kong probably would be they've cast him as a good guy, but he's like the Incredible Hulk, you know, he's like unpredictable. He's generally fighting on the side of the humans. But yeah, Godzilla's motivations are unclear. I don't know if this is the only thing that I will tell you about it. Spoiler alert is, we were expecting Godzilla and Kong to like kind of chest bump before the end of the movie, and it never happened. But there was like a, you know, moment where they're looking at each other and Godzilla's deciding whether he's going to attack him again or not. And then he's just like, you know what? You're good people. And then he just kind of goes back into the ocean.
I did see a post, though, that scientists calculate how much Godzilla would pee each day.
Oh, I can't wait.
151 million gallons of urine each day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot.
What sound would he make while he's peeing?
Could sound like Frank Drebin, you know, just his hand against the wall. Whoa! I swear, the guy from Hackers. Do you remember Hackers with Angelina Jolie?
Mm-hmm.
The FBI guy that's after them.
Okay.
They like subscribe him to all these like weird porn like forums. Right. It was weird because it was called Hackers, but it is only like it's like in the early 90s, you know, dial-up modems and whatnot.
When it was a lot easier to hack somebody.
There was a lot of like public telephone use, and I guess like the way that they could like mimic the tones, you know.
Mm-hmm. Was that like when Matthew Broderick took a tab off of a pop top of a can of soda and scratched it against the phone and the interior of the phone and the parts of the freaking payphone to short it out and somehow got through to without paying for it? It sounded, I don't know. Do you remember that?
Vaguely from War Games, right?
Yes.
I can't imagine. I love those old, like in Hackers, Penn Jillette was in it as a guard, you know?
This is Fat Meat Eater Penn Jillette, right?
Oh yeah, he's really, he's beefy.
He's not anymore. I mean, he's totally sworn off, you know, meat.
Oh, man.
He doesn't drink anymore, and I can't find your guy, though. What was his name?
I can't either. He is literally... I have just been scrolling back and forth on this IMDb trying to find him. I guess I'm going to have to go to Hackers and see... it has to be the same guy.
Mark Anthony was Agent Ray. Michael Gaston as Agent Bob.
Wendell Pierce.
Wendell Pierce, who was Agent Dick, and I think he's in the new, I may be defunct now, the Jack Ryan TV series that was on Amazon.
With Jim from The Office.
From The Office, yes. John Krasinski.
I cannot, maybe I was wrong about Godzilla. We just talked about him for 10 minutes and it had nothing to do with anything I was talking about.
I'm pretty sure that we came on today to talk about demons and the Italians.
Right. Yep. No, this is just a real freewheeling podcast that we're doing today. Did you know that he was in the Money Pit?
I just saw that. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's all coming together. We watched a couple of episodes of Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean,
it's a thinking show, though. You mean, like, really, you're like, okay, this guy is tied to this guy, is tied to this guy. Yeah. What are we doing here?
Pause it if you're going to get something to drink because you're going to miss something. We were watching it for like good 30 minutes and I was like, I haven't seen Jim from The Office at all. It was just focusing on these other two characters.
I think I made it to season 2 part way through and started a podcast and then I have zero time for anything. But instead, I'm stuck on watching
Motley Crue videos,
music videos from.
Well, let's say, so you've already said that a couple of times. I have to know why.
Oh, just because it was in the soundtrack for Demons.
That's it?
That's it.
Man. What's the name of that song?
Save Our Souls.
Oh, man. That's better than Shout at the Devil, and Shout at the Devil was the hit, I like that, needle drop when the kids first get there and that song comes on. And
it's something you could ride a motorcycle through a cemetery to.
Oh, absolutely. I would not think of riding my dirt bike through a cemetery to any other music.
And I think I was reading in the trivia or something here on Demons that said that was an actual defunct freaking cemetery in Italy.
For sure. Oh, well, everything's, Italy is hundreds of years of history and everything's old in Italy, I think. Got to get there one of these days.
Until then, we'll just eat some pasta.
And ride around in a gondola. What are those things? Those canoes? Not at all sure if that's what those are called.
I think it's exactly what they're called. Can somebody from Pirelli Tours please call us? Let us know. Let us know how much it's going to cost for our trip to Italy. Our real trip and not our assimilated trip.
Assimilated? Like we became
Italians.
At that moment, they both became Italian. Remember when Alien 3 was like the bad one? And now it's like...
Well, when the worst ones came out.
Yeah, then it's... Yeah, when Resurrection came out, everybody's like, you know what? I like part 3. Mm-hmm. I like it that it's like cubed, or not cubed, what do you call that? The 3 is just on the... Right.
Alien cubed. That's what they call it. So let me get on to Demons and...
Okay.
Let's go to Italy here. Because I really want to talk about the special effects artists from Demons.
Oh, yes.
Because we have yet to really get into their stuff. And I think the same people that were involved in Demons 1 were involved in Demons 2.
Yeah.
All of them, they have a lot of credits under their names. They're prolific in their careers for special effects.
Mm-hmm.
The first name on here, and I had to look him up, Sami Habib Ahmed, is listed for special effects makeup assistant, but it's his only credit, and he was the demon that came out of the girl's back.
Right. Kathy's baby demon. You know what is so crazy? I was thinking about that scene and how cool it is that it makes no sense physically, It's just like a trick, like a magician's trick or something.
Yeah.
But it looks so badass. And I was thinking of all the backborn like creature effects.
Uh-huh.
Phantasm 2 has a really good one.
Right.
Where
Okay.
it's a little confusing. I mean, that movie is a lot confusing, but it's Reggie and Michael, right? Not Michael. What's his name?
Yeah, it's Michael. Right?
Is it? Oh, Lord.
His real name was Michael. I actually watched part of Phantasm last night as I was going to bed. It's just funny you bring this up. A. Michael Baldwin played Mike
Okay.
in Phantasm.
Jody is
Right.
his name. Is the yeah. That's what I needed.
Gotta reel it in.
But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, anyway, the backborn monsters.
Right. And that was in Phantasm 2.
There's a line of dialogue that I haven't seen that movie in years, but either Reggie says or Jody, who's played by James LeGros in this one. They
That
say
was
in
Michael, not Jody. Jody's his brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like, damn it, man.
No, wait a minute. So he's not Jody?
James LeGros played Michael in part 2.
So
Jody's his brother, the older brother that he was living with.
Yes. Okay. So he is the younger one. I just had the names mixed up.
Right.
Wow.
I can fix all of this in post.
Thank God.
I probably won't, but I can.
Delete.
I can.
Well, we pride ourselves on being thorough. Gentle and thorough, like a laxative. Yeah, anyway, so somebody says in ADR, I think it's a flashback.
Okay.
It's very strange the way that this comes up. It's either Reggie or Michael who is saying, like, what happened back in whatever town they had just come from. He's been seeing this girl in his dreams.
Right.
The blonde girl.
Right.
What's her name? Liz. He's been dreaming about this girl. They eventually meet and fall in love in, like, a matter of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They have this history together in their dreams, so they don't have to,
That's right. Man, cut out the small talk.
Exactly. Let's bone. They're constantly in hotel rooms. But anyway, so he said, the tall man left us a calling card in wherever, Topeka or something.
Right.
And that was it, was the girl who they have not met yet with her mouth taped up like in a basement or something. Am I getting this right?
You are
Does
getting
this
this
sound
right.
right?
Yes.
And I don't know. She was wearing like a hospital Johnny or something. And it's revealed that she has a little tall man,
Right.
like worm creature on her back.
Right. It kind of reminds me of like one of the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes. It looks like Baby Freddy or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, back horror. And then that one in Demons, where he just kind of like steps out of the body,
And then we got the backbursters in Aliens.
Yes, we saw that first in Prometheus, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
There might have been one in part 3, but he for sure came out backward, like out of the back in Prometheus, which was awesome. That's another good one. I just had one.
Can you go with the Beast Within? Because he was.
Yep.
He didn't actually birth anything out of his back. A little bit of trivia here from Phantasm 2 that Brad Pitt auditioned for the role of Mike.
Oh my God, what would that have been like?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
James LeGros is one of those guys that he's always a supporting character in all these movies I like,
You have mentioned before how you refuse to call him LeGros.
Well, look, I just want to respect his ancestry. Angus Scrimm looks like he made that face and somebody slapped his back, and now he's just making it for eternity.
I was just reading here about, when A. Michael Baldwin, who played Mike in the original, did come back for the sequels later on.
Yes.
I don't know if it was with Phantasm 3, but I always wondered why they didn't get him and they picked somebody else. So the budget was bigger and they wanted a bigger production out of it. And I guess they wanted a name, and A. Michael Baldwin wasn't necessarily a name.
Did Coscarelli do any of the sequels?
I think he did all of them.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Coscarelli is the man.
That's amazing. I love him so much.
Beyond writing them, he also directed them.
Yeah.
So
that's what we should be talking about, how he got the money to make Phantasm.
mm-hmm.
I really don't know a lot about Don Coscarelli, except that his fucking movies are wild.
I think he tends to lean towards more of maybe self-produced and funded type things,
Yeah.
Smaller budget films. He doesn't want to go Hollywood film.
Right.
I think he likes to keep a hand on his production, and therefore he can go anywhere with it.
Yeah, sure.
We've talked before how he tried to get the drive-in done from Joe R. Lansdale.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Which would have been an amazing thing.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually seen some art that was put together for spec on the film. So
Right.
Don Coscarelli was born in Libya.
Okay.
Just had to throw that out there.
His dad was selling plutonium to fucking
That's it.
Christopher Lloyd.
The Libyans.
That movie just like offhandedly, brought about so much anti-Libyan sentiment around the world. I wonder how they did choose that.
Don't know.
Not very carefully.
They just said, who can we piss off that's not going to start a war with us?
I guess maybe that is it. You guys can't do anything. We're going to make you the bad guys.
I was going to mention to you, too, that you brought this up during our screening of Demons. It says here in the trivia, in the lobby of the theater is a poster for Argento's 1972 film, Four Flies on Gray Velvet. Other posters include the 1980 concert film No Nukes, 1927's Metropolis, and an AC/DC poster, possibly for the 1980 documentary Let There Be Rock.
Cool. And also a big poster for Creepshow.
Yes.
Do you watch the new series at all on Shudder?
I've watched a few.
They're on season 2 now, but there's only like a couple of episodes, and one was kind of like the original story from the first one with Tom Atkins. The kind of wraparound story. He's just like drinking and giving the boys shit about liking horror stuff, and there's one similar to that that was really fun to watch. Little kid getting back at a basically a drunken stepdad or something,
Okay. The name of the cinema, Metropole, can be seen as a building in the first Silent Hill video game.
Oh my God.
This is straight out of IMDb trivia, by the way. The blind man going to the cinema was meant as an ironic joke.
Yeah, we laughed.
Yes.
Laughed long and loud and clear about that one. Did we ever find out if that was his...
It has to be his daughter.
Yeah.
Just a wonder if she is that brazen to have an affair next to her dad in a movie theater. Yeah. What else is she trying to pull off while they're in other places?
Well, you assume she's German. So I think that probably explains a lot of it. It's very cool to just get finger banged in an old movie theater.
So the building used for the exteriors of the Metropole Theater still stands in Berlin. It's a club called Goya that has been a host to several horror conventions thanks to its appearance in the film.
Sweet. I think they knocked it down, didn't they?
I don't know.
I think they trashed it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That would suck. I cannot find my connection to Phantasm.
But it was there.
Mm-hmm. And I know what it is I was also looking at Cemetery Man. So I thought maybe that's what I was looking at, which also states, and this is maybe of what I got confused here, the sets for the cemetery in the film Cemetery Man were built upon actual abandoned cemetery grounds in Italy.
Okay. Right.
So that may have been where I got that. And I was reading on this because I know we watched Cemetery Man together like several times.
Sure.
It says here that music group Tangerine Dream was originally supposed to compose the soundtrack, but dropped out because something else came up.
I don't really remember. I think it was just a lot of, string instruments like freaking Ennio Morricone, the guy that did Godfather and stuff.
And the thing.
I think that's what it ended up sounding like. Fuck, Tangerine Dream would have been fucking awesome, though.
It would have totally just really, really done that movie well.
Yeah. We need to do a whole, I don't know, this is kind of off the subject, but I was thinking about Legend, and how it has a couple of different soundtracks.
Wait. What was the subject? Because if you're going off subject now, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
I was going to talk about the devil, and
okay.
We watched a movie this weekend called The Dark and the Wicked, because a friend of mine, literally has texted me every day since he watched it, asking me if I have seen it yet.
The Dark and the Wicked.
Yeah, it's on Shudder.
Never heard of it.
It's pretty badass. Very depressing. There are no silver linings in this movie. This is very depressing, but creepy as shit. My leg hairs stood up on him. It usually starts with my arms, but it was actually my legs this time. And I've got hairy legs, so that was a lot of hair to come up all at once.
I've been meaning to talk to you about your hairy legs.
Let's talk about it now.
Okay.
No, we need to do the rest of the podcast first.
We need to start the podcast.
Oh, right. No, this is the yarn wall, Tim. We don't have to. This is completely non-linear.
Good, because we are everywhere right now.
We could talk about, I don't know, Urbano Barberini next. Who knows?
That's going to come up. Go ahead.
Or Bettina Ciampolini. How about Giuseppe Cristiano? Okay, I can't pronounce any of these.
That's why you should keep going.
Oh my God. And the guy that I wanted to talk about the most, how is it? Mikhail Soavi?
Who directed Cemetery Man.
Yeah. He was Jerry in the movie they were watching.
Dude, for Phantasm trivia.
Ooh.
The sequel to the Phantasm films were made into a comic book form.
What?
I want these.
I've never read the Phantasm comic book.
Yet. Now that's going to be on your list of things to look for.
Looking it up immediately.
I am writing it down.
This would fit well with the comic. I feel like they could just, kind of like they do Hellraiser, there's a ton of Hellraiser comics because it's so open-ended, you could have them, put them anywhere, Oh my God. But that's the cool thing is that, I think in the comics, maybe first was when you learned how the, lament configuration was, created. What if you find out how the balls came to be, created? I need to know that.
I've just been reading trivia as you've been talking.
The
spheres were designed by a guy by the name of Willard Green, who charged $1,100 for his services. Sadly, he died just after the production completed and never saw his work on the big screen.
Damn, dude.
The genesis of the story came to Don Coscarelli in a dream. One night late in his teens, he dreamed of fleeing down an endless long marble corridor pursued by a chrome sphere intent on penetrating his skull with a wicked needle.
Penetrating.
So really, he dreamt of the movie and was like, holy fuck. He was probably terrified by baseball.
Oh, yeah. Anything with dodgeball, kickball, anything ball.
Just being teabagged.
Ooh. Just balls in general. Truck nuts, he was frightened of. Truck nuts were like a cross to a vampire with Don Coscarelli. He's just like... yeah, I'm looking up the comic book, and
yes,
he wrote a few of them, I think.
Sweet.
Oh, God.
There's a lot of trivia on Phantasm, and still not as much trivia as my guy I'm going to talk about today.
Well, do you want to just get right to it?
I really, usually on my deep dives, I like to find somebody that I'm surprised about. Well, granted, I'm surprised about this guy, but Should he be celebrated? I'm not sure because I'm pretty sure he's a loathsome motherfucker.
Okay. Okay.
And he's shown up in several movies that we're very fond of.
Okay. We're not talking about the Jeepers Creepers guy, are we?
No.
Okay. Good.
No, what's his name?
I don't know. I'm not going to say it. I think he got canceled a few years ago.
Oh, did he?
This was like before Weinstein and all that stuff.
No, this guy is dead.
Okay.
And
can I guess who it is?
Sure, go right ahead.
Well, you got to give me some clues first.
He's tied to Cronenberg.
Okay. Loathsome guy that's tied to Cronenberg. Oh, wait a minute. Are we talking about my man James Woods?
No. That's the most loathsome guy you could think of at this point.
Well, I mean...
No, James Woods is still alive, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you did specify he was dead.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me just come out and tell you, I'm talking about Oliver Reed.
Oh, okay. He is loathsome.
He is pretty loathsome.
Yeah.
Oliver Reed has been around for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He has 121 credits under his belt and 99 entries in his
99.
trivia.
Wow.
Which actually Phantasm had 93 entries in the trivia, so that needs to be talked about more. So maybe you can continue talking about Phantasm.
Yes.
I'll talk about Oliver Reed, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle with the movie we're doing next week.
It's a dream. Perfect podcast.
All right.
I will say that one of the, in the contents for the wiki on Oliver Reed is just alcoholism, which I think probably...
yes, it did. That's really what killed him. I'm just going to go straight into his trivia, and then I'll jump back and forth. Okay. Was severely injured and almost died during the filming of The Three Musketeers in 1973 when he was stabbed in the throat during a windmill duel scene.
Whoa.
Okay.
I feel like people almost died all the time back then.
Back in the day.
Movies.
Yeah. So Oliver Reed, he was in 3. It was a trilogy, actually. So 1973, we're looking at The Three Musketeers. He played Athos.
Yep.
Raquel Welch, Michael York, Richard Chamberlain, Christopher Lee, and Geraldine Chaplin.
I know I've seen this before. That is fucking amazing. I mean, the cast, you know?
Yeah. And they came back for 1974's The Four Musketeers.
Okay. Not 3+1.
Yeah, which Michael York took over top billing there.
Oh, I could see that.
Raquel Welch, Oliver Reed, Richard Chamberlain. I forgot to mention Frank Finlay.
Yep.
Christopher Lee and Geraldine Chaplin. They all came back. The Return of the Musketeers, 1989.
Oh.
So 15 years, they came back.
Everybody's moving a little slower.
Yeah. Which you still have Michael York, Oliver Reed, Frank Finlay. C. Thomas Howell came in there.
Okay.
Playing Raoul.
Literally wandering through the set or something.
Geraldine Chaplin. Kim Cattrall.
What? This is like a made-for-TV
I guess so.
Three Musketeers.
But Christopher Lee and Richard Chamberlain as well.
How did Christopher Lee have the time to make all those movies, for one thing?
Don't know. Christopher Lee's career just continue. I think it's still continuing, and he's been dead for years.
Yep.
He's a narrator for a movie that's in post-production.
Right.
They're trying to get him to narrate it from the grave.
Yep. I left this recording. He probably just does voiceovers for everything. Just everything he sees, and then like tapes them and, just in case.
Just narrated his entire life.
Yep.
So more on Oliver Reed. He narrowly missed out on playing a super spy in a James Bond film because of his love for alcohol.
I mean, you would think in a Bond movie that would be a plus.
In the mid-70s, he was considered by many to be Britain's biggest movie star.
Wow.
He declined roles in The Sting and Jaws because he didn't want to relocate.
Oh, thank God.
Both roles were taken by Robert Shaw. Can you imagine Oliver Reed playing Quint? I can't.
Oh, I heard some Robert Shaw trivia specifically about Jaws this weekend. I don't remember what for, but anyway, the little monologue he does, you know, when they're drunk and showing scars and stuff.
Okay.
He did one take of that actually drunk. And it was just completely unusable. So the next day he did it sober and I fucking nailed it. But I would love to see
yes,
that little bit of film.
Release it. Oliver Reed was close friends of The Who's drummer, Keith Moon.
Oh, God. I'm sure.
So if you look up Keith Moon, you know, he also died of an accidental overdose in the same London flat that was owned by Harry Nilsson, where Mama Cass died a few years before, in that same flat.
She OD'd on chicken, I think.
I think it's in that trivia.
Or ham.
Or
I think it was ham.
I think it was chicken cordon bleu, so it was both.
I think it was a sandwich. It definitely was a sandwich.
Anyway.
Wow. Connection?
Mm-hmm. Michael Winner and former snooker champion Alex Higgins, himself suffering from throat cancer, were the only two celebrities to attend Reed's funeral in Ireland.
I feel, and I could be wrong, I feel like Oliver Reed is like he's like British Shatner.
Right.
You know, he's like method, but then he's not that great. So he's just gives everything this like crazy like gravitas, you know.
He starred in the first film to say fuck. A movie called I'll Never Forget What's His Name.
That is a great bit of trivia.
That is a 1967 film. I watched the trailer for it, and it looks like a quirky kind of 60s movie. You know, you can't really tell what it's about. He's married. He has two mistresses, but he's continuing to be a womanizer. And I just watched it. I did not pay attention to it whatsoever.
Right.
He also starred in the first British film to be X-rated just for violent content.
Okay, what was that?
1972, Sitting Target.
Never heard of that. See, a cop?
This has Jill St. John, Ian McShane, Edward Woodward.
The Equalizer?
And Frank Finlay, who was in The Three Musketeers with him.
What if Edward Woodward got that role or got that nickname because he was just going to like his friend's house and adjusting their like stereo settings? An Equalizer. Hello, is this thing on?
God damn! I missed the joke. I was like,
there wasn't much of one.
All right. Well, I guess that concludes the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you guys for.
I just heard our last listener click.
Yep. Oh man, Ian McShane is just one of my favorite actors.
He is amazing. He really is.
And
is he doing like American Gods right now? And I loved his character.
I have not seen those. It got canceled. I don't think they're going to make any more of those yet.
No. I only watched the first season with my wife, and then I started a podcast and haven't seen my wife since.
Yep.
So
that's how it goes. Out on the road.
More on his trivia. The public house in Malta in which he died, previously known as The Pub, was renamed Ollie's Last Pub in his memory.
Wow. That's dark.
Lost weight to appear in 1986 movie called Castaway on a diet of vodka.
Oh, that's one way to do it. Oh my God, that's so funny. He's in The Sting 2.
He came back for The Sting 2.
He was like, God damn it.
Should have been there.
Yep. Oh my God. With Jackie Gleason, can you imagine the amount of alcohol that was consumed by those two?
Unbelievable amounts.
Unbelievable.
Had an intense dislike for Jack Nicholson, whom he called a balding midget. Had a tattoo on his penis
What?
According to Patrick Warburton, Reed showed him the tattoo the first day they worked together.
If I had a tattoo on my penis, that would be how I introduced myself.
Hey, how you doing? Look at this.
Yeah, take a look at this. Does that look normal? What is Condor Man? I feel like I've seen that on HBO a couple of... Oh, yeah.
That's a Disney film. Yeah.
What?
According to director Ken Russell, the original script for Women in Love, 1969, did not include the famous nude wrestling scene.
Really? It didn't?
Yeah. Because he felt it wouldn't pass the censors and would be difficult to shoot. It wasn't until Reed talked him into it by literally throwing his weight around. He wrestled Russell in his kitchen, pinned him down, and wouldn't let him up unless he agreed to shoot it.
Huh. I guess.
Lots of alcohol.
Yeah. Lots and lots of alcohol.
So let's get how he died here.
Okay.
He died of a heart attack in a bar after downing 3 bottles of Captain Morgan's Jamaican rum, 8 bottles of German beer, numerous doubles of famous grouse whiskey and Hennessy cognac, beating 5 much younger Royal Navy soldiers at arm wrestling.
Yeah, he's built like Alex Jones, where he's got these little, like, kind of truck driver legs, but then his upper body is gigantic.
Mm-hmm. His bar bill for that final lunchtime totaled about $594.
Just for him?
Yeah, just for him. I think so.
That's a lot.
Needed 36 stitches to repair cuts on his face after a bar fight in 1963. The incident left him with a permanent scar that he initially feared would put an end to his screen career.
Oh, no, it's made him look tougher.
So in 1963, he was drinking and getting in bar fights.
Wow.
He died in 1999.
Wow. He was like kind of pickled.
Yes.
Do Alan Bates and Oliver Reed have sex together in Women in Love? Because let me tell you something. In the pictures, there is a lot of them shirtless and sweaty and about 2 inches away from each other.
Oh, yes. I saw that.
Were they just doing like body shots or something? Or their sweat actually had... Oh, there's their butts. Okay. I'm clicking off of this. Tim, you've picked as morally reprehensible that you made us talk about Oliver Reed.
I'm not done yet.
All right.
And I've got to go on to his career before I can totally wrap this up.
Okay, are you going to mention Curse of the Werewolf?
Yes.
Okay, good.
At 22, Oliver Reed was paid £90 per week for his starring role in Curse of the Werewolf in 1961. But the film would not be seen in Spain for many years because it was banned because the film portrayed Spain as a backward nation. Interesting.
Huh. Okay. I love this movie. It's a Hammer production, you know?
Okay.
And his werewolf is white, you know, like white fur. And it's a very different looking makeup, but it looks fucking awesome.
He is so young in these photos, too.
It looks like he has contacts in, maybe? No, maybe that's just his eyes. Have you ever seen Devil Doll? MST.
Yes.
The girl in Curse of the Werewolf is the girlfriend. Devil Doll.
Okay.
She's very pretty. Her name's Yvonne Romaine.
Her name is Servant Girl in Curse of the Werewolf. Servant Girl.
And the name of that movie is La Nuit du Loup Garou in French, which I like.
So Oliver Reed's career goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
So 1971, he was in a movie called The Devils.
Yes, Ken Russell movie. Very weird.
Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
How is it described? Are the nuns are just like kind of possessed or just like in a hysterical, horny frenzy kind of?
I think you summed it up.
Hysterical, horny frenzy. Well, that's a lot of... I mean, they call it like nunsploitation now, but I don't know if... I don't know. Have you never heard that term?
No.
That's what they're called.
That's an actual term? You just didn't make that up?
No.
All right.
But the Devils would have been the first of the... I mean, they really took off in like the 70s, you know?
Okay.
Ken Russell is so... I just could not tell you if I enjoy his movies or not. It's hard to say.
And it looks like he came back to work with Oliver Reed many, many times here.
I think they were both on the creepy meter.
Mm-hmm. There's a movie called ZPG.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
It stands for Zero Population Growth.
Oh, okay. So nobody's having babies.
This was back in 1972 as well, the year of my birth.
Wow.
Concerned with population overgrowth, the Earth government bans, under the penalty of death, all pregnancies. But one couple decides to risk having a real baby rather than legally adopt a cyborg child.
What? I would love to have a cyborg kid.
You can legally hit them and get away with it, right?
Yeah, you can hit them, have sex with them, they do your dishes.
Oh, God.
Edit the middle part out, but keep the first one and the third one.
Is written by Frank De La Fita. De Felita. God damn it, I get his name wrong every time. Frank De Felita, which he wrote the novel for The Entity and Audrey Rose. We've talked about him.
Okay.
And every time I get his name wrong, every single time.
It sounds a little like Logan's Run.
Well, ZPG also has Geraldine Chaplin.
Okay.
Don Gordon.
Oh, man, love a Don Gordon movie.
He keeps showing up.
He does. He's like the most prolific guy that we had to look up his name to figure out who he was.
The same year was when he played a Sitting Target, the one that was banned because of its violence.
Okay.
Or was given an X rating because of violence.
Okay.
Dirty Weekend was 1973, so that was the next year. So,
what's Dirty Weekend all about? I can imagine.
Dirty Weekend is actually an Italian film. In the 1970s, an industrialist and his mistress are taken hostage by 3 left-wing extremists who robbed a bank, but the police and media circus follow them closely on a cross-country car chase.
Oliver Reed's mustache in that movie is big and coming at you.
It mentions in his trivia, in like his trademarks, is sometimes having this often sported a thick handlebar mustache.
It's thick, all right.
He has ocean blue eyes and a marvelous speaking voice.
His chest is gigantic, and I think that's why he and like Brian Blessed kind of sound alike a little bit. Brian Blessed just sounds like he's insane, but good pipes on those guys. It's all the alcohol.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Loosens the throat up.
1973, Steve McQueen flew to England to meet Oliver Reed and discuss a possible film collaboration.
And,
quote, Reed showed me his country mansion and we got on well. It's not a long, it says got on well, recalled McQueen.
I think that was a typo. We got drunk is what it should read.
He then suggested he take me to his favorite London nightclub. The drinking, which started at Reed's home, continued into the night until Reed could hardly stand. Suddenly, with no apparent warning, he vomited over McQueen's shirt and trousers. The staff rushed in and found some new clothes, but they couldn't find him any shoes. He had to spend the rest of the night smelling of Oliver Reed's sick.
Oh my God. And you know, he had like 3 whole pheasants before they went out drinking. So that's really, really provided some chunks.
His wrestling scene with Alan Bates in the movie Woman in Love.
Is that what they call it?
Yes, the wrestling scene.
I don't think they should be laughing while they're doing it. I think that's what's creeping me out about it.
It was the first time full frontal male nudity had been featured in a mainstream movie.
God, he's really a trailblazer.
And is that where he decided, well, I'm going to get a tattoo on my penis so they know it's me. I got you now, Tommy Turner.
I don't like any of this trivia, by the way. It's all vaguely grossing me out.
It gets worse.
Okay. Oh, good.
Reed died during the filming of Ridley Scott's Gladiator in 2000.
Oh, that's right. He was like the old slave, right? Or was he even a...
I'm not sure who he was. It cost the company $3 million to recreate his face so he could appear in the scenes he still had to shoot.
In retrospect, it would have been cheaper just to pay for the liver transplant, but he was on his third one, so...
Right.
Wow.
For a brief period in the 1960s, Oliver Reed was the highest paid actor in Europe. So on to something we don't really want to talk about. He was nearly killed in a friendly sword fight with director Ken Russell.
Can you have a friendly sword fight?
It goes on to explain it, but it was from the filming of The Three Musketeers in 1973.
I think all you have to say is just alcohol.
Yeah, it's alcohol. That's really...
Let's get drunk and play with swords.
That's exactly what happened.
I mean...
Infamously clashed with Shelley Winters on The Tonight Show.
Oh, man.
In 1972. And I tried to find this. There has to be a video of it. He got angry for her constantly joking and interrupting his stories that he was trying to tell. When Winters had to leave the show early, Reed told Johnny Carson that he thought that women belonged in the kitchen. She returned and poured a cup of water over his head.
Oh.
He then claimed it was whiskey that was poured over his head because, well, it makes for a more interesting story.
I guess everything he touches turns to whiskey.
Once described his purpose in life as shafting the girlies and drowning the Sherby.
What does the second one mean?
I don't know what Sherby is.
I don't want to know. Oh, God. I wish you had picked Brian Blessed instead. I think he was a faithful, loving family man. I'm just looking at all his movies instead. But there's no alcohol on his Wikipedia. Oh, yeah, there is twice. Never mind.
He was arrested for walking in public without clothes while filming The Brood in 1979.
Was he naked in that movie?
If not, he was naked off the set.
Oh.
And for fighting in a bar just after filming had ended on the 1983 movies Spasms. Do you remember Spasms?
I think I've seen it before. The only pictures on IMDb are of half-naked women.
Oh, yeah. The same girl, yeah.
It is.
Spasms reads, a gigantic serpent is captured on a remote island and shipped to an American college for experimentation. A British millionaire and his American scientists find themselves in hot pursuit of the beast when it escapes from captivity and starts to kill innocent people. I've never seen this, but I remember the box.
The completely lumpen, weird looking face, that's basically the only thing I remember. The snake looks pretty badass in a freeze frame. I don't know so much about when it actually starts moving. There's a guy with just blood just all over his face.
Mm-hmm.
And a girl in a bikini playing frisbee. I feel like the real money shot of the movie is just that one guy that apparently it bites his face.
Oliver Reed was also in Venom in 1981. I just found this kind of interesting.
Another snake movie.
Terrorists in the process of kidnapping a child get trapped in a house with an extremely deadly snake. This one has Klaus Kinski.
Oh, God.
And Nicole Williamson.
Oh.
So.
Okay. Now
you're interested.
There's something that Nicole Williamson does with his voice. And you could tell that, Viggo Mortensen was kind of imitating him when he was playing Aragorn.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like a kind of lilting... If you've ever seen Excalibur...
Right.
He's doing that voice as Merlin during the entire movie.
Okay.
And I think Viggo tried to do it in the first movie, and then I think he quickly stopped trying to do it. When he does it, I don't know if his voice just isn't deep enough or something. It sounded very weird when Vigo was doing it.
On with Oliver Reed's career.
Mm-hmm.
In 1983, he also did Two of a Kind. I've seen this too many times. Two of a Kind was John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John,
oh right,
Charles Durning,
all the sex symbols from the era,
Oliver Reed, Scatman Carruthers, Robert Costanzo's in there. We talked about Ernie Hudson.
Oh my God! I just got a glimpse of him. He's got a Inspector Clouseau mustache.
I can quote parts of this movie, by the way. I know you don't want me to.
Go ahead.
I think I've told you before. John Travolta meets Olivia Newton-John. They live in the same apartment building, and her doorknob keeps falling off.
Oh.
And so he goes over to help her, and he says,
he's like, "Hey, how you doing?
Hey, you want to see another knob?"
He's just like unscrewing her doorknob at night so he can. It's just the lamest way to potentially rape a woman.
But no, he mentions the trick to it is you have to hold the nuts while you screw.
Ugh, gross. Image 18 in that IMDb is my new profile picture.
Is that him with a blonde wig?
Yeah. I feel like that's when he was like getting into Scientology and he was like, I feel like this is natural to me. Wow. That would have been the right era for me to see this on HBO like a million times. I've never seen it.
How did you miss it?
I don't know. I've seen Perfect probably 100 times.
Right around the same time, I'm sure.
Oh my God, The Experts.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like The Experts and House 2, which I think both of those have Ari Gross in them.
I believe you're right. Yep.
Were on constant rotation on HBO. And Deborah Foreman's in that.
In Two of a Kind?
No, in The Experts. I'm sorry, I got completely sidetracked. Do you know what the story for The Experts is? Do you remember that?
No.
Oh my
You
God.
want to read it off?
Let's see. God, it's surprisingly short for, I mean, it probably causes more questions. 2 NYC, New York City, guys get jobs starting. That's worded weird. 2 NYC guys get jobs starting a nightclub in small town USA. They don't know it's a spy training model town in USSR. So basically, they knock these guys out and they wake up in a like suburban, like Iowa or something. Mm-hmm. And I guess because those are the 2 like coolest guys that they could find. Also, it was directed by Dave Thomas.
The owner of Wendy's?
Not that Dave Thomas. The hoser, Dave Thomas.
Hey, Ozer.
Brian Doyle Murray is in it. Rick Dukeman. I mean, it's a cavalcade. He dances. John Travolta dances, of course. He has an insane mullet. It's kind of like Seinfeld's hair, but with extra on the back.
Okay. All right. Let me finish with Oliver Reed. So
I'm so sorry I keep derailing everything.
No. Everything's derailed today. He was originally cast as Mordecai Fingers Adams in Cutthroat Island, 1995.
Okay.
But was fired after getting into a bar fight and threatening to expose himself to Gina Davis.
That sounds right.
This is 1995. This is close to the end of his life, and he is still drinking like a madman.
He's a criminal.
The reason why he quit drinking to get into the movie Gladiator, but it was only drinking on the weekends. But he was on a small leave from doing Gladiator when he went on to drink himself into a stupor and then die.
Wow.
Almost done here. He was going to star in A Clockwork Orange in 1971 with Ken Russell directing.
Oh, man.
That never happened.
Have you ever seen a Ken Russell movie?
Yes.
I mean, I've seen Lair of the White Worm. Mm-hmm. I've seen The Devils. Did he do Caligula?
No, that was another Italian guy.
I think Tinto Brass did it.
Right. We talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah. In 1981, Oliver Reed was arrested in Vermont. He was tried and acquitted of disturbing the peace while drunk. I mean, I can put while drunk after all of these things, right?
It just, I bid with the dog.
However, he pleaded no contest to 2 assault charges and was fined $1,200. So still, 1981, drinking and fighting. That's what he likes to do.
Yeah.
And what puts him in the loathsome category even more.
Even more.
At his trial in 2014, Max Clifford, this is Max Clifford's trial,
okay,
claimed that he helped cover up Reed's liking for underage girls.
Oh, okay. Just a horrible piece of shit.
Exactly.
Wow.
I looked up Max Clifford to get a little bit of an idea of who this guy was.
Uh-huh.
Max Clifford worked as a publicist to the stars. His clients included Simon Cowell, Jane Goody, and Freddie Starr. I don't know who those people are. Oh. Simon Cowell, but yeah.
Just another piece of shit. You even sound depressed that you picked Oliver Reed to talk about.
I spent so much time on going into his background. I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
Right.
And then I come across that at the very end. I'm like, well, fuck.
Right.
So he is a loathsome guy.
Yeah.
He starred in a bunch of movies.
Drunk.
Max Clifford, it says here, was arrested in December 2012 for historical sex offenses under Operation U-Tree and was found guilty of 8 counts of indecent assault in 2014, sentenced to 8 years in prison, and he died while serving his sentence.
Oh, good.
That loathsome motherfucker's dead too.
Indecent assault is just fighting someone with no pants on, I think.
I think.
Wow.
I don't know what else to say about that.
I don't either. I feel like it needed to be talked about, I think.
Yep. And now we need to never mention it ever
again. He was in The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is another movie that just seemed like it was on all the time, every day. I wasn't like, oh, great, Adventures of Baron Munchausen's on again, you know?
Yes.
But I think, really, it's a Terry Gilliam movie.
Yeah.
And it's got, like, a ton of people in it.
A ton of people, yeah.
Oh my God, I had no idea that Sarah Polley is the little girl in that. Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I don't remember Oliver Reed being in it, but...
He could have been in heavy makeup. Or
yes, I have a
just
feeling
the drunk guy in the background.
Yeah, he was probably the drunk guy in the background. Or he gets a credit, but they completely cut his scene out because he was so drunk.
All right, well, I am putting Oliver Reed to rest here. I appreciate his acting in several movies.
Yeah, one of the bad dead ones.
All right, you want to take a little break before we move on? Since I have been talking nonstop for what?
About British pieces of shit.
That's it.
Hey, freaksters and freakettes. It's Tim from the Moratorium. Do you like the sweet sounds of our witty banter in your ears every week? Well, head on over to our Patreon, and for only $3 a month, you can get even more. In the director's cuts of our movie episodes. On average, that's 20 minutes more of our wisecracking, jive-talking, and lip-flapping laughter straight to your ear holes. Go to themoratorium.com and click on our Patreon link, and you'll find 5 awesome tiers with tons of goodies. You can also find our Teespring link on the website for even more awesome merch. Thank you for your support. Now on with the show.
All right, now that we've fully washed our hands of Oliver Reed.
I have totally purged my system of Oliver Reed. The Brood was a damn good fucking movie, though.
I can't even remember the last time I've seen that. But I've seen other Cronenberg movies, older, like Shivers and Rabid, and I've seen them recently. I need to watch The Brood again. Yeah, man, Cronenberg. We'll get to him eventually. I mean, like, it's either Shivers or Rabid. you know?
Yeah.
Rabid was just so wild. This is, I just at random clicked on the Brood and was kind of scrolling through. Some of the trivia is pretty crazy. Joe Dante cut the American theatrical trailer for this movie. I don't know why. Oh my God, here we go. Oliver Reed was arrested by the Canadian police. Again, I don't know if this is the same incident that you...
Was when he was just drunk and naked?
Yeah, by the Canadian police during the production of this film after he made a bet with someone that he could walk from one bar to the other without wearing clothes.
Oh, it was a bet. It was a fucking bet.
Nobody even took him up on that. He was like...
He just did it.
He just did it.
Hey, you want to see me go over there naked?
Here's the hams for you. It's just Oliver Reed's butt just pressed up against the bar window.
That says also in freezing cold weather. That's what it says. Hey, you want to see my tiny tattoo?
Oh, God. Wish I had never heard that bit of trivia. Ever.
That's going to be my voice for Oliver Reed from now on, by the way. I'll revisit that when I want to say loathsome things.
Can we get another taste of it? Just You're known for your voice work, mainly. Primarily. I love, Cronenberg's got his guy. I've never known this dude's name, but he's been in movies all the way up to Existence.
What a great fucking movie.
I loved that movie.
You mean times I've seen freaking Dead Ringers, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Okay, his name is Robert Silverman, and he was in The Brood, Scanners, Naked Lunch. He's like Jack Nance for Lynch. He's just his guy. I don't know if they were friends in college or something, maybe.
Interesting.
So the first one he shows up in is Rabid.
A Man in Hospital.
Yeah, Man in Hospital. Okay, The Brood. His line in that movie, he kind of sings the therapy that Oliver Reed is doing is called psychoplasmics. And that's what allows her to grow the brood,
Okay.
I think at the time, all those weird hippy dippy therapies were going around in real life, and they just kind of took this one to the next level. But in that movie, they're talking about Oliver Reed. He says psychoplasmics, that explains everything. Wow, he was in Prom Night.
I was just looking at that.
Scanners, Friday the 13th, the series, Naked Lunch, Waterworld. Okay, now I'm thinking he's not just a Cronenberg guy. He's in a bunch of movies. Jason X.
It said he was listed as a hydroholic in Waterworld.
What does that mean?
He was the one that was really just addicted to water. I think he was hanging around that little bar area just trying to get Kevin Costner to give him some water.
I have a confession to make. I have never seen Waterworld.
Oh my God. I actually really love Waterworld.
I know a lot of people that liked it.
And people give it shit.
Mm-hmm.
I could watch it today. I have no problem with it. It's a guilty pleasure. It's on and I'm like, you know what? I'm fine with it. I can watch this.
I do like a Jeannie Triplehorn.
Mm-hmm. And the little girl in that was, Nola?
Mm-hmm.
She was Napoleon Dynamite's girlfriend.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of trivia there.
That is a little bit of trivia.
And I was just looking at, I'm sorry. I know we've talked about this. Felix Silla.
Okay.
Plays the creature in The Brood. All right. He's a little guy.
Okay.
We've talked about him before because he was Dink in Spaceballs. One of the Jawas.
Oh, yes.
In Spaceballs.
Yes.
He was Meathead the alien in Meatballs Part 2.
Okay.
He was in The Sting Part 2. as a ringside man taking bets. He was Under the Rainbow, of course. He was in Demon Seed.
Yeah.
As the baby.
Okay.
He was in the Manitou. So speaking of things getting born out of backs, we did not mention the Manitou.
That actually popped up while I was looking at it, and that kind of like tickled the back of my head, but I couldn't remember. It does come out of her back, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I think that's a way for them to have a weird birth without dealing with like lady parts, maybe?
Maybe.
Oh my God, say his name in the Manitou. It's Miscamachus.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like a...
It sounds like a delicate sandwich.
I'd love a good Miscamachus. It's like a honey mustard or something. And they fry those little onions. They just kind of crisp them up.
Yeah.
Delicious.
He was also in Kentucky Fried Movie.
Oh,
he was in a little
making
segment
me hungry.
of that movie. Yeah.
We're talking about all these food, meatballs, Kentucky Fried movies, Miscamachus. He was Twicky in Buck Rogers. You know? Beady, beady, beady.
Yeah, that's it. When I saw the pictures in his IMDb, I thought for a second that was it was something else, but no, that's exactly what it is.
Yep.
But you see the Meatballs 2 monster.
I do.
The alien.
It's actually kind of...
He's cute.
Yeah, he's cute.
Yeah.
He's kind of a Mac, you know, like Mac and Me.
Mac and Me, exactly.
But it basically looks like a kid made him out of clay, and then they put like Christmas lights in his eyes or something.
Didn't we see the alien's parents at the end, and weren't they talking about making Gednip knobs? Yeah.
Yeah. They were naked too, which was weird. But I guess that goes back to like, I mean, technically my dog is naked right now too. Yeah, his credits, he was in Don't Be Afraid. Now we're going. I'm looking at this guy now. He was in Lidsville.
I don't know what Lidsville is. No.
It was like a kind of HR Puffin stuff kind of kids show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Sid and Marty Krofft. So
yes.
Charles Nelson Riley's on it.
Jesus.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
He was in Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, which I really... Kim Darby was in it. I really want to see that again.
He's been in a lot of HR Puffin stuff. He was a child gorilla in Planet of the Apes, 1968.
What?
He was in an episode of Petticoat Junction as Baron Munchen.
He was actually under a petticoat.
And he was Cousin It in the original Addams Family TV series.
I don't like it that he was a little critter in House, which I can't imagine. Oh, yeah, there were those two kind of demon things. Man, we're going to have to do House one of these days because I've got so many questions about that. Like, what are the other creatures?
I am not sure.
Because the house is only being haunted by Bull, right?
And is he causing these other creatures? I don't know.
Yeah, is he like... somehow masterminding it, or
that's a good damn question.
I don't know. Thank you, Felix Silla. You're one of the good short ones.
Did we ever talk about Steve Miner directing House?
Yes, we did bring it up, but we did not explore that at all. No. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a Steve Miner and what's the other guy?
I don't know. I'm stuck on this now. Okay, move on. Who did you want to talk about today?
I don't. That's why I'm sticking to these guys that you're bringing up because I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds like you're creating a lie.
I'm literally
you're stalling to create a lie. Right
I'm literally phoning it in. Oh yeah, because we've said Steve Miner did Soul Man. And we were both
son of a bitch
confused by that. Now, that was a year later. He did House and Soul Man. Oh, my God. We're going to devote a whole episode to Ray Don Chong at some point. Ari Gross was in that, too. Is his best friend. Oh, my God. This is too much.
Everything circled around on each other today. You noticed in the episode?
What if we realize that
we are one shared conscience? Or maybe you're just another personality in my brain and I'm doing a
Yeah.
podcast by myself.
Or vice versa. Yeah. Yeah, we're in the singularity, I guess. Yeah, the Steve Miner thing. Dude, he did Wonder Years. His IMDb is insane. Friday, 2 and 3.
Okay.
House, Soul Man. 9 episodes of the Wonder Years. Warlock in 89. Oh my god, I've seen that movie so many times. Forever Young. Is that the one with the...
Yeah, it has to be it. Yeah.
My Father the Hero. What is that? It's Gerard Depardieu.
Don't. Oh, damn it. Because I came across Gerard Depardieu today in another film. And if you look at his IMDb pic, his nose looks exactly like Dan Aykroyd's nose in Nothing But Trouble.
Oh, it does.
He's got a dick nose.
It really does. You just can't blame it on...
It's not shading.
Yeah. Why didn't they just have him be... Oh, you know what? I bet he has played
dick nose before.
Cyrano de Bergerac at some point just because of the nose. Let's do a whole episode on Roxanne. I love that movie.
I do too.
Moving on.
All right, moving on.
To nothing. I got nothing. All right, do you want to hear some Hollywood trivia?
Give me some Hollywood trivia.
Let's just...
lighten this episode up.
Yeah, we really were... I think what got me down is Oliver Reed stuff was really a bummer.
Yeah, and it went on for an hour.
Oh, God. Okay, this is on HuffPo.
On the what?
Huffington Post.
Oh, okay. I thought we were
.com.
going back to HR Huff and Puff and Huff.
Oh.
Huffing stuff. Puffing stuff.
That's the X-rated one that they did. This is just a list of weird trivia. Did you know that Die Hard originated from the failed script of Commando 2? Interesting.
Okay.
Barely. Samuel L. Jackson demanded that the studio keep Snakes on a Plane as the title because
Yes.
it was the only reason he accepted the role. Which, I mean, yeah.
I've read that before,
Uh-huh.
and I thoroughly believe it.
Yes. I mean, without the title, you don't have a movie. Rather than use CGI, Tim Burton had 40 squirrels trained to crack nuts for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I believe that one too. Due to a zipper breaking, Olivia Newton-John had to be sewn into the trousers she wears in the last carnival scene of Grease.
Yeah.
Did you know that the sounds made by the Brachiosaurus in Jurassic Park were a combination of whale and donkey sounds? In National Treasure, the good guys in the movie use Google and the bad guys use Yahoo. Django Unchained is the first time in 16 years that Leonardo DiCaprio didn't get the top billing.
Wow.
Probably was the first time in 16 years that he's not the main character.
So speaking of Die Hard, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I love speaking of Die Hard.
In my yarn, I went down a lot of different paths, but I came across Hart Bachner again.
Love that guy.
Who plays Ellis.
Mm-hmm. The cocaine weasel. Cocaine weasel.
And I came across a movie that he did in 1988 called Apartment Zero.
Okay.
That was with Colin Firth.
Okay.
And I watched the trailer for it and deemed it unwatchable.
I'm looking it up right now. I got to get my eyeballs on this. Sounds familiar.
And looking at Hart Bachner, we may have brought him up before, but he was in 1979 Breaking Away.
Right.
And he was in Terror Train.
Okay. I like his look.
He is interesting looking.
He's handsome, but he always looks like he just got done doing cocaine. That's a weird look to have.
Yep. So anyway, back to your trivia.
Yeah.
Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, they had to sew her pants on, her trousers. Oh, here's Harvey Weinstein just to round out the cast of characters that we have here. When Harvey Weinstein wanted to edit Princess Mononoke to make it more marketable, director Hayao Miyazaki sent him a katana with a simple message, no cuts.
Okay.
Classic Miyazaki. For Return of the King, Elijah Wood had Alka-Seltzer tablets in his mouth so he'd foam when Sheila stabbed him. I can confirm this. We just watched that. And it does, I mean, it's a weird scene. It's a very, like, Peter Jackson filmed scene where the angles are a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Total footage shot for 2001 A Space Odyssey was 200 times the final length of the film.
What? I can't imagine then what was left on the floor in the editing room.
We gotta see the Kubrick cut of that movie. I've heard this weekend that Tarantino is thinking about releasing the 20-hour long version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wow.
Which I would watch all 20 hours of that. A couple of times, probably. The phrase old sport is said 55 times during The Great Gatsby. Jesus, guys. Kevin Spacey was cast in Seven 2 days before filming began. I need to go back and watch that movie again. I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's a good movie.
The pile of shit that the young Jamal jumps into in Slumdog Millionaire was made from a combination of peanut butter and chocolate.
You've got chocolate in my peanut butter. You've got a Slumdog in my chocolate.
You got Slumdog in my millionaire. Oh, I like this. Charlie Sheen stayed awake for 48 hours.
Yes.
To achieve a suitably wasted look for his cameo in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He looked, I mean, I guess I thought that was just makeup, but...
No, I think that was just him.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen's just, method. The voice actors of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse got married in real life.
Okay.
Ewoks are never called Ewoks in Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Can you confirm or deny that?
No.
I just assume you've seen it more recently than it's playing on a loop.
Yeah, probably. But I have not seen other parts of my house in months.
In Alien, when the alien comes out of John Hurt's stomach, the actors were not actually told it was going to happen.
Awesome.
So that is one of the greatest reaction scenes ever.
Veronica Cartwright is just...
Oh, God!
I think she is one of the best screamers.
And her great big eyes, she just kind of walks around looking terrified. What? Pierce Brosnan was contractually forbidden from wearing a full tuxedo in any non-James Bond movie from 95 to 2002.
Wow.
Every time John Travolta goes to the bathroom in Pulp Fiction, something bad happens.
Okay.
Are they talking about the actor or his character? Ron Jeremy's an extra in Ghostbusters. Seems like I've noticed him before. This one will put a smile on your face. Steven Seagal was choked unconscious on a movie set by Jean LaBelle, and Seagal shit himself. It says that in the trivia. He didn't defecate. He shit himself.
That's awesome. Dude, I'm looking at then and now pictures of Morningside Mortuary in Oakland, California.
Oh, let's go there.
It looks exactly the same.
Oh my God. We gotta go there.
It is beautiful.
Can you imagine living in California and being near so many,
No.
historical...
I would have lots of selfies.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan has never had a movie rated as rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well.
What about The Prestige, guys?
You forgot about that.
Nope. Damn. I've never seen Drive.
Is that the one with...
It's Ryan Gosling, I think. Ron Perlman's in it.
Everybody seemed to love that film. I did not care for it. Did you like it?
I've never seen it.
Okay, then.
The raw footage of Apocalypse Now consisted of 1,250,000 feet of film.
Wow.
Over 230 hours worth.
What the hell? That is incredible.
Yeah.
It should have taken years to edit.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Heart of Darkness?
No.
I think it's about it's like a documentary about Apocalypse Now. And I think they probably used some of that for that.
Okay.
I think. Tim, that's all I've got.
That's all you got. Okay.
I just didn't have it today. Let's hear let's see what we can make out of what you
We'll wrap this up really quick. My yarn's really short. So I was looking at Sergio Stivoletti.
Okay.
And he did some special effects for Cemetery Man. That's what brought me to Cemetery Man.
Yeah.
He has special effects credits, 47 credits here, which include Dracula 3D.
What is Dracula 3D?
Dracula 3D was in 2012.
Okay.
That was Dario Argento's Dracula movie.
Oh, right. Yes. Oh, man, I think it was bad, huh?
It's starring Ozzy Argento, too.
Oh, and Rutger Hauer?
I don't remember this.
Oh, man, I don't either.
Rutger Hauer playing Van Helsing. That's just...
Again, I mean, he was... No, I'm sorry. He was the vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right. So this guy... he also did the special effects in The Church, which we said was the sequel or in the trilogy of Demons, right?
Should have been Demons 3, I suppose.
He did the animatronics in Opera.
Okay.
It looks like he followed Argento around too. The Card Player. I remember watching The Card Player and I thought it was pretty boring.
Yeah. Everybody was so excited about the third part of the Three Mothers trilogy, and then it finally came out and it wasn't that great. But then those ones that he did for Masters of Horror were really freaking good.
I don't know how I got to this guy here, but I was looking up Ottaviano Della Cua.
Nailed it.
He's got 202 credits in stunts.
Okay.
Which goes from Red Sonja, John Wick Chapter 2, National Lampoon's European Vacation, Lady Hawk, Quantum of Solace. He was most known for being the zombie in Zombie in Lucio Fulci's
or Zombie 2.
Yeah, exactly. If you're keeping score here.
I love that cover.
That's an iconic.
Very gross. Yeah.
And that's where I came across, I don't know why, because he did the stunts for a movie called The Monster. I had to click on it in 1994, which happened to be written and directed by Roberto Benigni.
Okay.
And remember when he was a big thing?
I remember this movie. I think Life is Beautiful.
Yes.
And he won for Best Director that year and climbed across all of the chairs at the Oscars. And everybody's like, who's this fucking dude?
So Ottaviano was also the stunt coordinator in Zombie 3.
Okay.
Phantom of Death. He did the stunts in Leviathan. The Barbarians. I almost took us to the Barbarians.
Oh, my God. The Barbarian Brothers.
David and Peter Paul. Which I think one of them's dead now, right?
They were in some of the cut footage from Natural Born Killers.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
In the deleted scenes, I forget exactly what it was, but like Mickey and Mallory like sawed their legs off or something.
Okay.
No, they were disabled or something. They were in wheelchairs.
Okay. Yeah, it says here David and his twin brother Peter Paul had a small part in Natural Born Killers where they were in the gym doing an interview with Robert Downey Jr.'s character. It can only be found in the director's cut of the film.
Hun brothers.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember She? The movie She?
Yep, kind of like a fantasy.
Yeah, that was Sandahl Bergman.
Oh, right. I love those movies so much.
In a post-apocalyptic world, She aids two brothers quest to rescue their kidnapped sister. Along the way, they battle weird creatures before standing against the odds to defeat the evil Norks.
Blood enemies of the Snorks.
But if you're going to name something evil, Nork is probably not the name.
It's not very intimidating.
Not at all.
You can see her boobs in the very first scene.
There was one other one that he did the stunts for that I wanted to bring up called Torag, the Desert Warrior.
Oh, man.
Starring Mark Harmon.
What?
So Mark Harmon did an Italian action film.
That is amazing. How do you spell that?
Tuareg. A desolate section of the Sahara, once ruled by the French, two thirsty men stumble upon the camp of Tuareg warrior, where they were given water and shelter. Soldiers from the new Arab government now arrive by jeep and demand the two men be turned over to them. The warrior refuses. He's on the cover, fully bearded, with this giant gun that he's holding like it's a bow and arrow.
He's holding the bipod on the front of it. That's strange.
But he's standing.
Mark Harmon, if you see him with a beard, that is fake. I don't think he's able to grow facial hair. He's like Rob Lowe.
Yeah?
Wow. I've never heard of that. 84.
And that also has Paolo Molko in it. Paolo Molko, we know him from House by the Cemetery.
Oh yeah, you also can mix that in milk, and it makes a good shake.
Okay.
Wow, is anyone else recognizable in this movie?
No.
I got to see who Ritza Brown is. Okay, she was an Ator. Oh, she's Ator's sister.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Ottavio also did the stunts in Star Crash. There you go.
Oh, great.
That's what you were looking for.
Rounding out his career.
His extensive career in stunts. I wanted to do a deep dive on him. It's just that he's Italian and he has 202 credits and a lot of Italian films that I've never, ever seen.
I feel like, at least in those like 80s, like sword and sandal movies or these fantasy movies, they basically had the same cast, same everything for all of them. Because I'm looking at a Tuareg and I'm already like, okay, I know that guy. You know, they're just... Mm-hmm. Are you going to do a post-apocalyptic Italian Mad Max movie?
Yes, we are.
Oh, thank God.
But before, I want to say that this guy, Ottavio, did the stunts for Roberto Benigni's Pinocchio.
Okay.
Where Roberto Benigni wrote, starred, and directed in Pinocchio as Pinocchio.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Go ahead and pull it up.
If I see Roberto Benigni in, like, Lederhosen, I'm going to be very angry.
He's in a really cute outfit.
I bet it is. I'm looking it up right now.
There he is with donkey ears.
No, Tim, I'm not looking it up. What year was that?
That was 2002.
There's also one called Pistachio.
Yes.
Now I feel like it's just a Dana Carvey character or something. All right, I'm looking at it. Against my will.
Okay.
Ooh, no. Why is Alan Thicke in there?
I didn't see him credited, but I see him in the pictures.
He wrote the music, I guess.
Oh.
Breckin Meyer is also in it. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't know who that is.
Breckin Meyer, he's, I think he's one of the guys that, like, came up with Robot Chicken with Seth Green, and because he does, like, a million of the voices on there.
Awesome.
Oh, Robert Davi's in it, too. So we're not doing Pinocchio, are we?
No, we are not doing Pinocchio.
Because it does look like a horror movie.
No, I'm going to take you straight back to Demons.
Okay.
And we're going to look at Michael Suave. I can totally make this yarn in one step. I can just tell you now that Michael Sopkiw, Sopkiw, we brought him up before.
Okay.
So they were both in a movie called Blast Fighter.
Okay, yes. You talked about this last time.
With Ottavio Della Cua.
Ah, see.
And George Eastman.
Okay.
Michael Sopkiw plays Jake Tiger Sharp.
His middle name Tiger?
His middle name is quote-unquote Tiger.
Okay, without looking, I don't know if you've already seen it, or you've already researched it, but what is a blast fighter? Do you know?
I don't know.
If you had to guess, what would you say a blast fighter is?
I would say a specialized janitor who cleans toilets in a machine shop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a blast fighter.
Yeah. That sounds good. That's perfect. Yeah, I'm looking at this guy too. God, I mean, out of a bunch of names, Michael, I guess the first name makes it like, oh, I think I can probably, his first name's Michael. I'll probably pronounce this right. And then Sopku. How do you...
I don't know.
I don't either. I love George Eastman. Is George Eastman not the Hart Bochner of Italy?
Exactly. He just happens to be 6'6".
He is fucking tall. I'm watching him stand next to this dude. Okay, Michael Sopku.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know his face. He's the main character in Devilfish. Right. I know I've said that before, but
Lamberto Bava also did this.
Okay.
Blast Fighter.
Okay.
And if you want to follow Michel Suave,
which I do,
he also did a movie called A Blade in the Dark, which I wanted to read.
Yeah.
A killer stalks a composer staying at a posh Tuscany villa while writing the score to a horror film which has an incriminating clue to the killer's identity. I dig it.
Yeah.
The number one reason I didn't go to this movie today is just to show pity on you because it has Bob in it.
Oh, God. Why? Why, Bob?
Giovanni Frezza. He plays Little Blonde Boy in film. You're welcome.
I don't have anything personal against him. I mean, honestly, if you really think about it, my problem's with the whoever dubbed him. That's the real villain of the piece. So are we doing Blast Fighter?
We're not doing Blast Fighter.
Oh my God. This is a roller coaster.
I was just taking you around the corner from Blast Fighter. We are going straight to 2019 after the fall of New York.
In 2019, this movie was made?
No, this movie was made in 1983.
Oh, okay.
It is titled 2019 After the Fall of New York.
Gotcha.
And it reads, after a nuclear war, society breaks down into two groups, the evil Urax and the Rebel Federation. A mercenary named Parsifal is hired by the Federation to infiltrate New York City, which is controlled by the Urax, to rescue the only fertile woman left on Earth.
Wow.
Written and directed by Sergio Martino, who also did Mountain of the Cannibal God.
Yep. We talked about that a long time ago.
Which had the freaking scene of a native railing a pig. Yes.
I'm so glad we've discussed that at length.
This movie is kind of set up like, kind of makes you think of Children of Men.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Somebody had actually mentioned that.
Yep. Same plot.
But this is 1983, has George Eastman playing Big Ape.
Okay. I mean, geez,
He is big, and he is kind of apish. So I guess it kind of fits.
Oh, God. We're going to have so many problems with his name. We're going to have to find out how to pronounce that. You know what? We'll look it up right now.
Okay. Well, I watched the trailer for this, and it looks like everything explodes.
Awesome. As it should.
It's just insane for the amount of action that's in this film. It's going to be an all-out, post-apocalyptic, just bloodbath.
Beautiful. I love those movies.
I know you do, but I didn't want to take us to something that you'd already seen.
No, I've never seen this one.
I know you were interested in the Bronx Warriors in 1990. Yeah. And I noticed a lot of these had the same kind of type of things of years in front of it. So that this is 2019 after the fall of New York. So this is a near distant future yet past for us.
Right. But oddly prescient because it feels like, or I guess felt like we were in an apocalyptic situation. Okay. This is funny. And I looked up how to pronounce SOPKIW.
Yes.
And there's a YouTube video of Michael Sopkiw on how to pronounce his name. Apparently, he is the only human with that last name.
Wow.
And he's mad about it, so he is going to tell us.
Awesome.
Let me see if I can cue this up so we can all hear it. Okay, here we go.
Hello, my name is Michael Sopkiw. That's how we pronounced it in the old country. Sopkiw, Sopkiw, Sopkiw.
Okay.
Sopke.
There's a guy that comments on this and says it sounds like he's saying Southgate, but I think they're British. I am no closer to being able to pronounce his name, and I just watched and listened to him do it like 5 times. He's almost making like a F at the W.
Okay.
So Sopkeef.
Okay. Where is he from? He's from Connecticut.
What? No, he's very Italian. He's the most Italian person I've ever seen in my life. Oh man, they really did give George Eastman like kind of a bad like Planet of the Apes nose and forehead.
So he is playing a big ape.
Yeah. And yeah, his name is not
and is
ironic.
Big ape.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I love these where the movie can never live up to the poster. You know what I mean? The poster looks so badass, and then it's like, oh.
Well, we'll have to see. And I'm going to have to find this for our audience to watch.
Yeah. This movie was at our local rental place. Yeah, it didn't say 2019 on it. It's just called After the Fall of New York. And it's got him holding a gun that looks like it was a sour cream gun from Taco Bell, and then they just glued a bunch of stuff to it.
Well, you can watch 2019 After the Fall of New York on archive.org.
Sweet.
So, but maybe the director took a Martin Dollman credit.
Ah, the old Dollman. Sergio Martino?
Sergio Martino.
So you haven't watched it?
I have not watched this.
You were just going off of trailer alone, which
yes,
I love.
And other people's reviews of this movie just being an all-out, just crazy masterpiece of goodness.
Great. So. I cannot tell you how much I love these movies. And that, like, trike that he has looks badass.
Mm-hmm. There are going to be plenty of cars with...
Let me guess. Circling around in a... basically just open...
An open farmer's market.
Yep. Things just crashing and exploding, and like blades made out of tinfoil that kind of spin around and stuff. Actually, they're on horses a lot with cool looking crossbows.
I dig it.
Awesome.
All right. Hopefully this will not suck for all of us.
No, I can't. I do see a clown, but... hopefully that's kept to a
Are you looking
minimum.
at pictures? Or
I
are you
am
looking at the...
I'm looking at the images on Mad Max kind of bandwagon and ripped this off right after the success of the first film, or was this after the Road Warrior? I don't know. That's interesting because let's see, what year was this? 83?
This was 83, yes.
When was Mad Max? Leave it to me. 79. So yes, everybody wanted to be George Miller. If this movie ends up sucking, we'll just talk about Mad Max instead. Be like, well, this movie got it wrong, but Mad Max, this is what they were trying to pull off, and they just couldn't do it.
It's going to be fun, guys, no matter what. We're going to make fun of it with all of our might.
Oh, yeah. Let's just agree now, because this is going to come up. Let's just agree to cut the W off. So It's just Michael Sopke.
Sopke.
Silent W, guys. I'm already spotting guys from like Bronx Warriors and, I think it was kind of Fred Williamson again must have been busy because he would fit right in.
Mm-hmm.
Or they couldn't afford him. Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
All right, guys. So we'll tune it in next week, and we will have a post-apocalyptic blast.
Yeah, dust off your cod pieces, guys, because this is gonna get serious.
Does the clown have a cod piece?
Oh, I can only imagine. I can only hope.
All right, guys. Well, you know that I was on call this weekend, so I was actually getting paid to do this podcast for once.
Wow, just have to lord that over us.
But Jason, I'm sorry, you have not been paid.
Really?
So if you want to help support this podcast, please head on over to our Patreon. And for as little as $1 a month, you can help support this podcast and help us bring laughter and cynicism and
it's just smiles on children's faces.
Oh God, I'm doing a horrible job today.
You're doing fine.
I was trying to make a good segue. You didn't buy it.
I didn't take the bait. This is half my podcast, and I didn't know what you were doing.
You can go to our website at themoratorium.com and look for our Patreon link. If you'd like to support us a little bit more, $3 a month, I will give you the extended director's cuts of our movie episodes straight to your ear holes for $3 a month.
That's a bargain.
Please go to our Patreon, help support us, and we will keep bringing this shit show to you.
Please. Guys, I'm starving. I've had ramen with ketchup packets for the last couple of days.
Calling it spaghetti.
Yep.
All right, Jason, tell us where else they can find us.
Well, you can go to any of the social media, like, what do we got now? We're on Twitter.
I have been posting every day on all of our social medias, and we are growing, guys. We're getting out there. We got a listener from Argentina. I had to look up where Argentina was.
What'd you find out?
It's in South America.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. That's where I thought it was.
Anyway, guys, please check us out on all of our social medias. Come to our Facebook group. Join the group. It's growing as well. There's lots of good stuff being posted on there daily. All right, Jason, you got anything else to add? Let's shut this bitch down.
Let's do it. Let's try again next week. Bye, guys.
You've been listening to The Yarn Wall, an MT Cornfield production. Join us next week when we cross over into the post-apocalyptic Italian mayhem that is 2019, after the fall of New York. You can find a link to this on our website, or you can just go to archive.org and look for it yourself. If you have any movie suggestions, or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS.
Good night, Podcat.
Meow. He's sick.
You've been feeding him ramen and ketchup.
That's what our podcast money is going to go to, is just getting Podcat back up on his feet and pay that little kid to poke him with a stick every once in a while.
You didn't want to say it, did you?
I didn't. It was gross, but Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.